Will you pray with me? Gracious God, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of all of our hearts be acceptable to you, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Don't you just love the energy in this space this morning? The jingle of dog tags, the unexpected little rustles and chips and yips and full-throated barks. It's just another way for us to draw our circle even wider. But this phenomenon isn't completely new to us at FCC. It's just a little more robust than on a regular Sunday. For on any given Sunday, we get some canine company with us in worship, and they're just chilling casually in the back with their humans, part of the puppy pews, which we've dedicated in the memory of Lori Boggess. Now, I know there are some churches that would raise their eyebrows at having dogs in worship, and they're probably churches with fancier floors and nicer carpets than ours. But it feels very right for all of us to be together in this sacred space today. It's a tangible way for us to recognize the place all creatures have in God's heart. Because for millennia, we human beings have placed ourselves at the center of the universe, the center of God's consciousness. We look at the whole sweep of the book of Genesis and we see ourselves as the apple of God's eye. I mean, after all, we come last. Right after Davin finished reading, it was going to get to the "and the human beings arrived" part. And since we came last, doesn't that mean we are the crowning achievement? Most important, most beloved, above other creatures? Now, you can find a lot of churches that will back that up. Church teachings that will back that up, of course, all written by human beings. But I wonder, as pastor and naturalist Brian McLaren notes, I wonder if we were to take a God's eye view to creation, if we take in the eons and eons of life on our planet, if we dare to take a look at how we, as a species, are just the most recent blip on the timeline of the universe, we would see a different story. Because honestly, friends, we are the newcomers in this family. For millions of years, before we were even a glimmer in God's eye, she delighted in the company of bugs and reptiles and all kinds of skittery, furry little creatures, some of which we've never seen, some who have come and gone already. For 245 million years, and then for 99.999% of the 66 million years since, God has been happy to have a good universe that included not a single human being, but lots and lots and lots of other creatures, all singing their own praise to God. Now, I know this might come as a blow to a species that is renowned for its ego, to see ourselves as just a part of this wonderful matrix of creation. But perhaps we can see it instead as an invitation to recognize the kinship that connects us to the animals that share our planet. For the best antidote I know for an egocentric life is to imagine life through the eyes of another. St. Francis, the patron saint we celebrate today, saw the glory of God in the tiniest sparrow and the most fearsome wolf. He recognized God's imprint on all of them, saw the sacredness within their souls, called them brothers and sisters. He honored their beauty, their diversity, their vulnerability, and their resilience, and he spoke to them like he would speak to his own family. He celebrated that bond that we share. There's a beautiful Irish proverb which says, "In the shelter of each other, the people live." Francis would embrace that and he would expand it. In the shelter of each other, all creatures live. And he chose to live among the wild ones, to share their lives in an intimate way, to follow their rhythms, to see through their eyes. In the stark of winter, Francis felt a kinship with the hunger of the red fox. In the dark of night, he felt a kinship with the field mice seeking shelter in the corner of the barn. In the joy of dawn, he felt a kinship with the song of the lark. He recognized each of them as beloved by the same God who made us in her image, delighting in them in the same way that God delights in us, echoing the words used in Genesis and calling them very good. Now, we may not live out in the wild with the fox and the mouse and the skylark, but we can share this same sacred bond through the creatures who shelter under our roof. The ones who run to the door to greet us when we come home, or chirp with excitement when we open their cage, or decide to camp out on our keyboard just as we are catching up with our emails. You cat lovers know what I'm talking about. They are our glimpse into God's wild heart and to the heartbeat that connects all of us to creation. Have you ever looked into the eyes of your pet and not just seen their essence, but felt in touch with the essence of every living thing? Because each of the animals who shares our lives connects us to the divine and teaches us something about how God shows up in the world. The magic of a purr snuggled right under our ribs, the bright morning song of our parakeet, the determined curiosity of our gerbil that runs up our shirt sleeve. Each of them, in their own way, connects us to an unconditional love of God that existed long before we were even a spark in God's eyes. They each carry within them the imprint of the divine. They are unique and special and beloved. And like us, they are sheltered in God's heart. And they remind us that it is a gift, a privilege, to be just one branch of a huge, ancient, complex, and wondrous tree of life. They remind us that we indeed take shelter in each other, and that the care we give them is returned to us through the countless blessings they bring into our lives. And so today, as we honor the patron saint of animals, we gather here to offer them a blessing in return, to affirm that they are precious in God's sight and in ours. And I'm going to invite Rich Guilford to go and get the children from upstairs because they do not want to miss this. So if you'll... Okay. As the music begins, we invite you to come forward with your pet and to take your place around the labyrinth. If you have a free-range pet, please make sure they are on a leash and be mindful of the other animals in the space. If you've brought a picture of a pet with you or no longer with you, but you would like to bless their memory, please bring that forward with you as well. All are welcome. And so as the music plays and we gather around the labyrinth and we are in a circle, we will begin our blessing. We invite our choir pet owners to line up right here. Come, for all is welcome.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.net.